Act 2, the podcast back, episode 13. Your boy Walt here.
Hey, it's Tosh.
She still didn't get an introduction right.
Hi, it's Natasha. I'm here.
Um,
T nasty. No, that's not it. Okay.
That's what you want. I just was looking because it was shocking that you said T nasty.
No.
But Act 2, episode 13. Appreciate the shares, appreciate the likes, the comments. Keep the questions rolling inside the question bag or box or bar or page, whatever it is.
Ask questions.
Ask questions. General topics, some stuff you might want us to discuss. So keep doing that. Didn't see none this week, but just maybe y'all forgot. But heads up, drop something in the question box, bar, page, or whatever it is. But we back. Episode 13. What's up?
We here?
What's good?
We here? You know, I just had a thought in my head.
What you thinking?
You know how sometimes people say the number 13 is like an unlucky number?
It is.
It's just thinking, do you want to tell the people or?
No.
Okay.
No. Because it's juju's bad juju.
Yeah, bad juju. Let that juju out the window. But people say that.
Juju.
But we're not claiming that. You know, 13.
Push through.
Push through.
Push through. So we back for episode 13. Go ahead. What you was about to say?
What's your wow of the week?
My wow was I got vaccinated. Yeah, I'm glad I got stuck. I got taken care of because we're going. I was about to say, but we're going to need to maneuver around and get around once this thing opens up, and people should take that into consideration, getting vaccinated. So just people out there, take it into, talk about it, think about it with your family, your friends. But you know, when this thing opens back up, we want to be able to fly planes, ride buses, ride trains, go to different venues, concerts, ball games, all that type of stuff. So that's my thinking behind why I got stuck.
You flying a plane or you just riding on a plane?
What's your thoughts about? Oh, my woe.
What's your woe?
My woe was my big fella. Yeah, he just bumming it up right now.
He's like an ebb and flow, you know, things up and down, but
he just bumming it up right now. But he'll be all good.
You just gotta always keep him in prayer.
I get real mad at him like on a Monday because he don't talk right after the weekend, and then by Thursday, I'm kind of encouraging him to have a better weekend this weekend. So that was my wow. That was my wow.
You know, I've heard this about.
Hold up, this is like a good thing though that we struggle for woes.
Of course, I mean, if we had a life full of woes, then that's.
You know how many woes people have in 7 days?
Thank God. But one thing you mentioned about having a bad Monday, I heard something that was said before, and this pertained to children in school. You know, teachers have said before that children who grow up in households or, you know, communities that aren't that good for them, Mondays and Fridays are the hardest days because they're coming back from a weekend, and you know, if there's like a dysfunctional home life where maybe they're not eating, they're being abused, they're just in a bad environment, and they come into school Monday, they still have that energy. Tuesday they letting it go a little bit. Wednesday is kind of the best day. Thursday is good, and then Friday it's a little bit of anger that they may not know how to express, but they know they're about to return to that environment.
I think I heard that before.
Yeah.
I heard that only Wednesday is the best day. I actually heard that on The Wire.
Oh, okay.
They explained the days of the week, and only Wednesday was a good day because Thursday they geared up for Friday again.
Yeah.
So they got all this energy.
I may have heard that too. I ain't gonna front, but I think I've heard it like in real life, like outside of TV too. Like when they talk about not doing research, but when talking about like children that's you know, face food insecurities and things like that, not knowing where their next meal is coming from. So just thinking about that transpiring into adult life, someone who may have a situation at home that, you know, whether it's a woman that's being abused or a man that, you know, whose situation is not right, anybody just coming from a situation at home and then coming to work on Monday, they gotta like shake that off a little bit.
You feel like that on Monday?
No.
You feel like all peppy and ready to go for the week, or do you feel like shit, I need a third day to get the weekend off?
Yeah, but for the opposite.
What side are you?
It depends actually. I'm not gonna front. Most Mondays, like a lot of people, it's like want. Here we go again. But not because it's like having to shake off a dysfunctional situation. We have good weekends. It's relaxing, and too often, sometimes it's relaxing, sometimes it's busy. We do a lot,
right.
But it just feels like it goes by so fast.
No, it doesn't feel like it. It does.
Yeah.
It does go.
What did I tell you about the weekend? And you told me don't say to nobody else.
I don't know what.
The days of the week is 24 hours in a day.
Oh, yeah, you can't say that on
Why?
That's just ridiculous. You can't
I
say that.
feel like the days of the week is 24 hours in a day, but the weekend
She went to
days,
college, y'all.
The weekend days should be like 30 hours in each day. Makes sense, right? Makes sense. Like the Saturday and Sunday should be longer than 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
My thought, hold on, because we didn't get to your wow and well. You just went on with this thought. But my thought about the days of the week is we should have a half a day every day. If we worked every day and had half a day every day, that'd be fine.
How productive would people be? I mean, like, how long it would take to get stuff done? No, what I do like that, at one of my jobs they used to offer, and your job is somewhat like this, but not all the way. They used to have what was called, quote unquote, a 4x10 schedule. Mm-hmm. For those people who work a 40-hour week, you do that. You work 10 hours, 4 days a week, and have a day off. That
I tried to do that, but they need me there on Friday.
Yeah, but
what's your wow and wow?
Let me say this last thing. Some Mondays I do feel good, but I will say it's mind over matter. I have to like kind of tell myself like, it's Monday, let's get to it. Don't let it bring you down. Those are few and far between. Self-motivation?
Tough love.
Giving myself tough love. I'm learning from you.
That's a form of tough love.
Tough love, Tony.
Yeah, tough love on yourself.
Yeah.
A little self-tough love.
I need to do it more often because sometimes Mondays will try to pull you back into bed. But okay, my wow of the week.
What wowed Tasha this week?
So it was what was exciting for me, my OBS is back. So
she did call me.
Yeah, so OBS, she was down for a minute. She was disrespectful, got her phone taken, completely understandable. But then the littles messing around with her phone completely locked her out of her iCloud account. And it just took some time. My sister's a busy single mom of 5, bomb-ass nurse, doing the thing every day to hold it down. And she just had to take the time to sit down and get around to it. Long story short, she's back. And I can talk to her every day. She let me know at 5:45 in the morning that she was back.
Yeah.
So it's just good to be able to communicate. Kids.
She's a fun girl. So when she texts, it's always random and odd and weird. But yeah, that's just it's who she is.
And you know what? I tell myself appreciate these moments right now because the bigs. Those teenagers, they ain't got much conversation for you. So I'm appreciating this age right now. The littles, they have conversation, but it's different. So to be able to communicate with her,
it's not communication.
I mean, sometimes it is. Sometimes she just wants to let me know every move she's making.
No, I'm saying Aubrey's age and up. There's conversation to be had.
Oh, but the littles is no conversation.
No, this littles is like they can't stop moving. They're not focused enough. Yeah. That's not a great interaction for me.
Tough love, Tony. He get it together. Sit down.
No. Not like that. It's just little kids have tiny little kids. It's just a weird interaction. I'd rather. Chat
but they love you. I'll be talking to them. The first thing they say, where he at?
Because I tell them I love them. All right. They are. They're good peoples. What was
my woe?
Yeah.
My woe of the week. And I guess it's kind of a woe, but not like a really sad situation. Just a lot of stress at work. One of my coworkers is transitioning to maternity leave, wishing her family the best.
I was ready to say, how's that bad?
Yeah, but no, that's a good thing. I'm happy, the baby, that they're healthy, and I pray everything goes well. And that's why I said it's not really a bad, but it's just like a whoa, because I'm preparing to take on a lot, and it's just going to take intentional efforts from me to make sure that I properly manage my days in terms of time management, stress management. I can't promise that, some days may not be stressful, but just learning to recognize it, bounce back, express how I'm feeling, take a step back, do those little self-care things so that I don't become overwhelmed. I think having a little bit of stress is normal in some things, but not allowing the stress to overwhelm me where it's like I'm drowning in it. So
I think people should get away from that and be an acceptance of a little bit of stress. I disagree with that. Like, people should try to focus and care more towards not having any stress.
But I mean, sometimes think about,
instead of going into a situation thinking, oh, this may have a little stress, like figure out a way where it has no stress. And if you can't, then you can't. But you still should try to think that way. Like, I want no stress out of this situation, or whatever I'm doing or indulging in. I don't want it to be stressful.
I understand that, but I think I look at it like this, right? So this is kind of sort of like me starting a new job, let's just say, because what we do while we have the same role, we do it in different capacities.
Right.
So we have different clients. Our clients use different systems. So it's completely different. So it's like you going on a new project where you know your job and you know how to do it, but you got to kind of learn all of the specs about this. So it's not going to overwhelm you, but some pieces of that might come with a little bit of stress.
Because it's new to you?
Yeah, just because it's new, and it's just kind of, and maybe it's the way I intake things and just in the way that I digest things, and I want to get it right.
Why don't you look at things to be exciting when they're new instead of, damn, this is stressful, I got to learn this and I want to get it right, and put all this pressure on yourself where you can just be reserved and think like, I'm here for a reason, I'm capable, and I'll figure it out.
Because I ain't that excited to do 2 jobs, but I feel you. I can't.
You're excited to take on the role of your boss while she's out. You can't say you're not excited to do that. Because if you wasn't, you'd do a shitty job and then it would look bad on you.
I am excited to be able
to do a good job.
If this opportunity wasn't presenting itself, I would be okay with that too.
I know you would, but I'm just saying that the fact that it's here, I know you want to do well and you get excited about the task that you perform.
You know what I think to myself, and this is just how I process things. I think somebody told me this before in some capacity of life, and it may have been work related, but I kind of use this when things that appear to be hard. 6 months from now, you'll look back at this time and you'll be surprised at how much you know that you didn't think you would 6 months ago. So in my head, that is the part of the you always say I'm so optimistic, that is part of the optimism that I have, where I feel extremely confident that I'll look back now. Granted, in 6 months, I think she'll be ready to come back in 7 months, but I feel extremely confident that I'll be able to look back on this time, or not even that I'll be able to look back on this time. I feel extremely confident that I am going to get it. So I'm not like worried, like, oh my God, it is a lot, and I'm not going to overburden myself because I can only do what I can do. It's not like I'm taking on her job and somebody taking off. I still have to do my job and take on this whole other role that's like 2 jobs in one. So I feel confident that I'll be able to do it. So I'm not allowing it to like weigh me down, but it's just like,
I think you will do it. I'm proud of you, and I think you will. I think your confidence is up there. Just when you get stressful and when you get in those hard days, err on the side of that. Move towards that, then I'm all stressed out and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
This is exciting. This is new. I shouldn't know this, so why am I stressed that I don't? I'll know it tomorrow.
Yeah. Or the next
You know
day.
what I'm saying? Or the next day. Or the next week. But it's something new to me, so I can't get mad at myself if I don't know it.
And I know you'll be there to
support
me, so I'm grateful.
So I mentioned earlier I got stuck got vaccinated, you got stuck, got your first shot.
Why that's PHI, that's HIPAA violation.
I violated then. What you gonna take me to jail?
Go ahead.
You used to track down bad insurance people.
That was my special investigation days.
So I got vaccinated, and my thoughts was obviously because we're gonna need to move around. I think it's gonna be a federal law to get on planes, and I really think that they're gonna hit the little people first.
Are you like cleaning up during the episode?
Yeah, what the fuck? It's my desk.
Okay.
I think they're gonna hit the little people first. What I mean by that, I mean like you won't be able to get on like a SEPTA bus or subway train, not unless you're vaccinated. If they do something that stringent, I just think it's wrong that it'll feel like government. Well, it's wrong that they'll be forcing us to get vaccinated, but at that point, it is what it is. You'll have to come to grips with it if you want to move around, if you want to go places, if you want to do things. If you don't, then keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? So what's your thoughts on getting vaccinated? I know you got your first stickum.
I got my first vaccination, and, you know, like I kind of said...
Fauci ouchie.
Like I kind of said from the beginning...
We got our Fauci ouchies.
I am not anti-vaccination. I was feeling like pause on the vaccination for me.
Before you go, did you ever? This is clear to the conspiracy theorists and stuff. Did you ever feel like they was giving you like AIDS, cancer, or microchip?
I think that's foolish for anybody to think. Like,
I just wanted to
ask.
You're right. I'm a journalist. I gotta ask. So. I'm interviewing here, so I got.
We should have credits that say international war journalist.
I should cross my T's and dot my I's, but yeah. Did you ever think that?
No, absolutely not. My hesitation was not because I thought
because that's going around in the black culture.
Conspiracy theorists. That's one of my pet peeves. Like it. I don't even want to talk about. I don't even want to.
No, let's not go down there.
Let's not give the table any legs.
Okay.
On the conspiracy theory.
All right.
That was not any. It was no conspiracies. My only thought was one, as we know, many people probably know as well, the vaccination is not FDA approved. And I will say this. FDA approval does not necessarily guarantee that all is right in the world and it's safe, because we know
a lot of products is not FDA approved.
Let's not even talk about products per se. We know there are some medications that are FDA approved, and then guess what happens a little while later, after some time, the FDA comes back and say, "Oops, we knew it was some chances of some negative, effects from it, but." What they use to determine whether or not it should keep its FDA approval is, does the benefits outweigh the negatives? And in some cases, like I remember the first time I heard about a drug being black labeled, meaning it had FDA approval, then they black labeled, it was no longer FDA approved. I needed eczema cream. And somebody had told me about this eczema cream. It was called Elidel. And then I found out it got a black label because although it had obtained its FDA approval, they found out, I don't want to make anything up, because I don't want to say like it gave people skin cancer or anything like that, because I don't know if that was what was happening, but something happened with it where now it ain't safe.
For a good example of that is talc. I'm almost sure that was FDA approved.
Is it? Because it wasn't a food or a drug. So the FDA is Food and Drug Administration.
I think talc was a drug of some sort at one time.
Oh, I thought you were thinking of talc in like the terms of like the baby powder thing.
No, I think talc was a drug at one point in time that they turned into baby powder. So I think it was FDA approved.
Okay.
I'm just saying it years later.
Well, even when we think about like Lipitor,
yeah,
like that, I think that was one of the most recent common drugs that we always seen on commercials for. I think it's for blood pressure or something.
I would assume so.
Yeah, and now you hear about or maybe cholesterol, since it's Lipitor and lipids and fat. But anyway, now you hear about, if you have taken Lipitor and have had negative side effects, call 1-800-INJURY-LAW. That kind of stuff.
You're on a class action lawsuit.
Exactly. So I say all that to say, FDA approved doesn't necessarily, I am aware that doesn't necessarily mean that it's safe, but at least there's some additional layer of comfort for some people, me being one. Right now, the emergency approval just lets me know that the FDA is saying, you know what, I feel like we need this, let's push it through, but we gonna still keep testing. I just saw on the news last night, you were asleep, and I think this was in Europe, because I don't think this strain of the vaccine is here through AstraZeneca. I don't think I've heard. Well, they found out I think it's in Europe. They are unsure if they will well, right now they said they will continue because the benefits outweigh the negatives, but they are seeing far more negative repercussions from it than they thought.
Well, people are going to have to get booster shots, but what's your thoughts on...
So I'm giving my thoughts. So I was kind of not anti-vaccination, but I just felt like we should wait, because I feel like this big push is just to pacify people, to, like you said, or for people to feel like, oh, we're safe now because we got the vaccine. One, it doesn't mean that you can't get COVID.
But they're disclosing that, so I don't understand what you mean about safe. Like, everybody knows that if you're vaccinated, you still can get COVID.
Okay, but
so that's not like something that they're not
but what
disclosing.
They're also not pushing is the fact that, and I'm not minimizing the fact that there were so many people that lost their lives. There's a 1% chance of death from COVID. They don't talk about how many people had COVID and survived, how many people had COVID and they're completely fine, how many asymptomatic people had COVID and they were never sick to begin with, or those people who, like I said, who were sick and they recovered. They don't talk about those numbers, and the numbers seem so exorbitant because, like, when they talk about the number of people that died, because they were giving us a daily ticker of deaths. There are far more people that die from cancer every day, but they're not giving us a daily ticker of that because that wasn't the headline. So I think it's scared people, rightfully so, because it was something new and we needed to be aware. We needed to be cautious. We needed to take certain precautions to make sure that we stayed safe because it was new.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they balanced the news appropriately to give us both sides. It was like, you got to do this because you can get sick, you can die. Now take this medication so you won't die. What about the people that didn't die?
What about them?
That number far outweighs the people.
But I'm just saying, again.
What do you mean I'm one of them?
You don't know if you're one of them. So that's what I'm saying. Again, like I've read and talked about this before. People always go to the 1%, but they don't know if they're part of the 1%. So you're saying, I want to take a chance with my life and thinking that I'm going to be on the 1% where I clearly could be on the 99% side. Or I think I'm on the 99% side. Like, who wants to play with their life like that? So if you're acknowledging that people died, which everybody acknowledges that a whole lot of people died, and yes, we were getting a day-by-day ticker of it, and that's why it seemed like it was so in our face, but you don't know what side you're on. Everybody has different health issues. It's a virus, so obviously if it's viral, it affects each human in a different way. So you don't know if you're the part of the 1% or the 99%. Why feel comfortable in taking a chance with your life?
So why?
Not like you're going to get a rash, not like you're going to get bumps or you're going to get a fever. Like, you could die.
So think about this, right? And people kind of brush this under the rug, even though it was said many times. There are more people that were dying from the flu every year. Now, within the last year, you stop hearing about the flu at all. It's like nobody has the flu or a regular cold. But pre-COVID, or what do you call it? BC COVID?
BC.
COVID. I like how you just made up your own time, but that
2019 BC.
Okay, 2019 BC. And prior to that, there were far more people dying of the flu. So this is not the first virus that people can die from.
All I'm saying is it's far more people that's dying of the flu, but there's other variables that go with that, because there's different health conditions, there's different strains of the flu, and there's herd immunity. There's no herd immunity to COVID. It's a wild new virus that they don't have a hold on. So if somebody is saying to you, a doctor is saying, okay, this is going to give you limited side effects, but we're not giving you COVID, and you the guarantee from this vaccination is that you won't die. Not guaranteeing you won't get COVID. I'm guaranteeing you won't be hospitalized and die. Why is that not?
That's my church lady fan.
Why is that not suitable? Like, well, I don't understand why people still want to take a chance with their life when you don't know how it's going to affect you. Like, it's almost like you can have one energy now, but when you get sick, or your sister gets sick, or your aunt gets sick, or your mom gets sick and die, energy change real fast. And that's cool because you get new information. It's fucked up that it has to get to that point for a person to feel strongly about something like that. Because again, you feel like you feel now. If you found out that your mom got sick tomorrow and died next week, God forbid, your energy about this shot would change completely. You would be an advocate for it. So all I'm saying is just why take the chance now when you don't have the information to say I'm in the 1% or the 99%?
Okay, so let me just ask this, and I'm not disagreeing with anything at all you said. Do you not have any concerns about the potential long-term effects of the vaccine since we don't know? Do you have any concerns about that? What could happen when we just think about this? When we hear about those commercials, like I just mentioned, Lipitor or the bladder mesh.
Isn't a vaccine, but I get
no,
what
I'm
you're
talking
saying.
about medications. Period.
Yes.
Things that are.
To answer your question, yes, I do have a concern for long-term effects. My thinking towards that is, I think now it's 100 million Americans that's vaccinated. So, I mean, I don't think that.
What if the vaccine kills all of us off?
100 million people?
Yeah.
Could. It's not likely, but it could.
Well, look, think about the Spanish flu of 1929. I think I just made that year up, but or maybe it was like 1829.
No, it was 1920.
Oh, I was close. I was close.
Yeah.
Think about all the people that. So let's not act like.
But you're talking about 1920, where there was like zero technology, and obviously it was like COVID. It was a virus that came through that they wasn't prepared for.
But what I'm saying is, don't act like there hasn't been mass deaths that have occurred. So we don't know if 6 months from now.
But that's mass death
from
the virus. That's what they're trying to prevent.
But what I'm saying is,
there hasn't been mass death from vaccines.
This is new. That's all I'm saying. We don't know.
All I'm saying is that's not a good argument, because yes, there's been mass deaths from the viruses and colds
from
and
new
flus.
things. Like you said, the Spanish flu was new. There wasn't any technology.
It's a new virus.
And I get that. Now this is something new. It's a new vaccine. They don't know what
the chickenpox vaccine was new at one time. It wasn't mass deaths from that. The polio vaccine was new at one time. It wasn't mass deaths from that. So to stay on vaccines, this is a new vaccine. So I don't think it'll be mass deaths from it. But it can. I'm not saying that it won't. It's just probably not likely. But yeah, if it's a new virus, we all could die.
You know, another thing I don't understand, and I have some nurse, well, my sister's a nurse, and I have some other associate. Well, because I didn't want to say nurse friends. I don't like.
I thought you was about to say like some nursing background or something, because you know your sister and talk to some other people that's nurses. I was about to say you
know I did go to school to be a medical assistant.
You gotta relax. You went too far.
No, I was going to say I have some associates and acquaintances that are also nurses. So I had asked a question and saying, why don't they test people for the antibodies and then use that to determine who really?
Because they only last 3 months.
Okay, that's where I was going. But I wonder, why is that when the chickenpox vaccine? I remember when that came out. I never had the chickenpox. When I was in the 7th grade, my sister had the chickenpox. And in my 7th grade class, everybody in the class at some point, it went around where everybody ended up getting it, except for like me and maybe 4 other people who had already had it. I did.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it was time after that was when the vaccine came out, and my doctor never gave it to me because they said I had the antibodies, so I didn't need it. And so I never had that vaccine. So it just makes me wonder. I mean, this is not you may not know the answer, and who the hell may know the answer. It's just curious to me. I wonder, what about the chickenpox vaccine, or what about chickenpox is different, that it stays in your body like that, where this doesn't. That's all.
I don't know.
Me either.
Yeah,
I have no clue.
I have no idea. So, are you for the vaccine or not?
I feel like I am not for the government forcing people to get a vaccine.
God.
Let me finish. You can't tell. You can't explain.
I asked a question as the host of my show. I asked a question. You can't answer the question. You're trying to.
As the co-host, I'm answering it.
No, I'm just saying. Are you for the vaccine?
Eventually.
Yes or no? I didn't ask. Are you for the government making you? I know your position on that.
So if I had to say
your
right
stance
now,
on the government making you is no. I know your position on that.
I feel like people should do what they feel safe with doing. Me personally, I can't say I was forced. Of course, you didn't force me to. You strongly encouraged me to. It was strong encouragement, talking to some of our other loved ones, my beautiful sister-in-law.
It was good for our family.
It was good information that was given that kind of swayed me. It made me think about it a little differently. So I made the decision to do it. But up until the moment I was praying, driving it like, God, if this ain't for me.
The night before.
Let a car.
My stomach hurt, baby. With that voice. Baby. My stomach hurt about thinking about the shot.
I did, up until the moment. Like, that's how I felt. Even when I sat down in the chair.
Barry White, baby.
When I sat down in the chair, I wanted to ask the nurse some questions, but she did it so damn fast. So I will say.
You know why they do that, right?
So you don't have a chance to turn around and change your mind. I will say, if somebody asked me today, should they get it? I probably would say yes. And this is the reason why, which is probably a little selfish because it's for health reasons, but more for like quality of life reasons. Mm-hmm. I do agree at some point, I think the government is going to make it hard to maneuver through life and participate in certain activities like concerts, maybe sporting events, travel, and that sort of thing. So when that time comes, I believe the demand is going to shoot through the roof, and they may be able to keep up with the supply of it. Mm-hmm. But then I think you have to think about other factors. Is it going to be as potent? Are they going to start watering it down? It may sound crazy, but rushing things, starts to lose the quality. Also, the time frame that it may take for you to get an appointment. So I think if you are going to do it at any point, now is probably the best time to do it before you get even more of a mad rush to do it. And it's not as difficult as people think. I know there's a lot of conversation about being 55 or older or having other health conditions. What a lot of people don't realize, myself, my husband, and many other people, us thickums in the world, we have the pre-existing health conditions that they talk about. If you are what is considered medically obese, which I would not in any way use that terminology towards myself in any other light, but in the medical field, based on your BMI, I should say, that makes you eligible for the vaccine. So that's how we were able to get it, because we're thank God we don't have any other health conditions that.
And we're not 64.
We're not
first line front work.
Yeah, we don't qualify in terms of our profession, so that's how we were deemed qualified for it. So if it is something that you think you want to do, I would strongly suggest that if you think you're going to want to do it at any time, I would suggest doing it now, because I agree. I think it's going to be required, or if not required in general, it's going to be required to do certain things. Somebody told me
I think it's going to be required, and they're going to monetize it. They're giving everybody the opportunity now to go and get it. Then they're going to make it as stringent as possible to move around, and then the shot will be $79.99, and it'll be extra hard to get.
I mean, you got to consider insurance and stuff like that pays for vaccinations as well. Mm-hmm. But
they can also, it's the federal government, they can put a stipulation to say this vaccination insurance won't pay for.
Wow, that's crappy.
And it's $80 a person.
Yeah, I mean, and then you also...
They're not going to say it's $700, but they're going to put a small $80 or something on it, $100, $50 or something on it, just to say fuck you to all the people who you didn't do what we told you to do when we told you to do it. That's how the government
like being Petty LaBelle.
That's the government.
Yeah, that's... I did... When you said you're saying monetize it in terms of charging people, but some businesses, which I don't think is a bad thing. I've heard a couple different things. One, somebody told me their job was offering like paid time off, where like you didn't have to use your PTO time if you were going to get it. Somebody else told me, your job was offering $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you guys got it, and then but somebody else told me that their job, or they knew somebody that told them if they weren't willing to get it, and they gave them a certain cutoff date, then it may impact their employment.
Yeah, because I mean, as a private business, or you own a business park like the ones I built, and it's a business center that's privately owned. That person could say like, "Hey, nobody can come in here that's not vaccinated," which will force the employees to get vaccinated or quit if they take a strong stand.
So since you're getting $100, you gonna break me off 50?
Yeah, sure. Moving away from the vaccine, another issue, or not issue, but another question I wanted to get your thoughts on is, what opportunities in life did you pass up and regret?
Wow. Pass up and regret. So I think regret is a strong word, because
That's the question.
I understand. I don't like when you ask questions and then try to tell me how to answer.
I'm not trying to tell you how to answer you, but your answer is rephrasing the question, or picking apart the question. So what I would like for you to do is answer the question in its entirety first, and then give me your thoughts on how you feel about the situation. So that's what I would like.
So I would say none.
None? Can you elaborate?
See, I knew you was going to say that. When I answer your question, then you ask me to elaborate. But if I try to elaborate prior to me answering...
can you elaborate?
I can. So the reason
let me ask
why...
the question again.
Yes.
What opportunities did you pass up in life and regret?
So my answer would be, there aren't any opportunities that I passed up in life that I regret, because I feel strongly that everything happens for a reason, and it's kind of like the butterfly effect. You change one thing, you never know where you are today. So I'm grateful for where I am. So that's why I say I don't regret any of it. I'm grateful for where I am. I accept the path that I chose, or the path that God directed me. Maybe I didn't choose it and He pushed me down those paths. What I will say, there are some opportunities.
Or He put me in your life and I'll push you down those paths.
Still God, so don't take credit for that.
I'm not trying to take credit. I was just trying to get some credit.
But what I will say, there are some things that I did, that some opportunities that I had, and I think to myself, like, I wonder, or the woulda, can I have some? Or the woulda, coulda,
speak about them.
The woulda, coulda, shoulda. Right, I'm going. I was leading up to that. So one of the things I think about, growing up, I always wanted to be a doctor. And in hindsight, I don't know if it was one of those things as a kid, somebody asks you what you want to do when you grow up, and you say a doctor, and everybody's like, woo, 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 woo. And
that's what
so
I
excited.
think it is. That's your husband. And hearing your story, I think it's like that lawyer-doctor thing. I also think it's the Cosby's. But go ahead.
Possibly, even though I was
a huge fan of the Cosby's.
Huge.
But don't go down that road. Just go ahead and keep going with your thought.
But I love Felicia Rashad, and she was a lawyer.
I know.
But I did. Maybe it's the daddy thing. I wanted him to be my dad, so I wanted him to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor.
I didn't want to get into the daddy issues, but go ahead.
This is like a session. I owe you $50. I owe you $50.
Get back to the question.
All right.
I got that you got no regrets, but there's some things that you may.
So I say I wanted to go into the medical field, but I agree, as a young kid, because I started saying I wanted to be a doctor at like 5. Then when I was like 11 or 12, my grandfather had he always had seizures. He had a seizure in front of me. We were in the gallery, and he had a seizure, and that kind of changed my thinking, where I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Like I wanted to know, how did brains work? Why did this happen? Like I wanted to be able to fix it for people. I mean, maybe, I don't know if my thought was to fix it for him, but I wanted to know how to work. So that was like, I want to be a neurosurgeon. Felt like I'm gonna probably be in school until I'm 50, but I was determined I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Then as I got older, life just didn't go that way. I think we talked about this before, like, being in school, high school wasn't the best years of my life, on a personal level, as far as home life. And then going into college, it wasn't a good situation for me. College was not, it probably was one of the worst experiences of my life, just from a personal level. So that whole being a doctor thing kind of went out the window. But I still had an interest in the medical field. One of my Gordon Street friends.
How hard you found it was. How you found out how hard it was.
Well, not only that, it wasn't so. It was hard, yes, which I kind of was expecting. But I was by myself, and I didn't have any support.
You didn't have me yet.
Well, that, or I didn't have friends to support me either. Had I been, at a school temple or somewhere where I had a group of friends and we can kind of motivate and support each other, or had I been able to go to Spelman like I wanted to and had a group of friends and been
Cosby's,
able to.
Rudy. It's all tying together.
Spelman. That's Hillman. Spelman is a real school.
She wanted to go to Spelman. He wanted her to go to Hillman.
Okay, I don't remember all that. But nevertheless, I wanted to go to a HBCU. That was the point. And I couldn't do that. And so I'm saying, had I had more support, I knew college was going to be hard. And I knew the field that I wanted to go into was going to be hard. So I wasn't under the false impression I was going to go in and breeze through it, but I didn't think I would have to handle it on my own as much as I did.
Okay.
So one of my Gordon Street girls, Mina, had went to, and Keena, actually they both went to when those tech schools started popping up. And Mina had went for like medical billing or something. Keena had went for surgical tech. And I'm not sure. I know Mina still has a very successful career in that field. It worked out for her. She was 18. We 40 now. It worked out tremendously for her. Years later, a couple years later, I was like, oh, I want to do that and I went for a medical assistant. And I just, again, one of those points in my life where I just didn't have the right, I'm not going to say I didn't have the right support because I was grown. I wasn't focused enough to do what I needed to do and didn't have the discipline to do what I need to do. So that's one of those things where I don't necessarily regret it because, again, everything happens for a reason. But I do kind of wonder, like, what could have been had I stuck with it, and could it have transpired into something more? I think, unfortunately, today, people kind of give a bad look to like CNAs and medical assistants like it's something small, but that's still, a big accomplishment. It's a foot in the door, and I know that's different than going to medical school, but it would have still been an introduction into the field that I always wanted to go into. So I kind of think, what things have been different. In terms of college, I always wished, and I don't even know if this would have been possible. I graduated high school when I was 17 and started college. I was still 17. I always used to wish that I was 18 so that I didn't have to have my parents' permission for things, because I wasn't allowed to go away to school. But I wish that I was 18 so that I could have taken that opportunity to leave and go away and be like, peace. I don't need your permission. I'm 18. But then what was I going to do financially? Like, I'm out here on my own. So that was another opportunity that, I had schools. I was getting letters and stuff from schools who were interested, but I just didn't, do what I was supposed to. Another thing in high school I always wish that I did. You always say, why didn't you ever play any sports? I wish that I had taken an opportunity to, as an adult, I think about volleyball. I don't know why I think that I would have liked volleyball.
No, you wouldn't have done well in any sport, not because you wouldn't have learned them, because you're not a team player.
But I wish that I would have joined the swim team.
Now that you could have, but you would have had to been.
Well, that is
Tasha Phelps, because you wouldn't have been able to be.
I was a good swimmer. I'm older now, but I was a good swimmer. You know what held me back?
Go ahead.
Body conscious issues.
But I'm just saying, I've learned I've learned you over the years, and you're not a team player. You don't like
swimming
teams.
Is individual.
If you're on the swim team and you're in a relay or something, or your teammate, if y'all lose because of your teammate, you're going to be mad. Your body language will show that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I wish that was something. Not being a team player is not what stopped me. What stopped me is because they had to wear those whole bathing suits. And, as a kid, I never wore a bathing suit as a kid without shorts. But knowing that I couldn't put shorts on over my bathing suit, that's what stopped me. So if I do have to say it was one regret, that's probably the only thing I regret.
I was going to say, that sounds like a regret.
Yes. so in terms of education and career, it's like, okay, things kind of landed where I have no false hopes that, being on the swim team would have led to anything in my.
You was a good swimmer. Why would you could have took it seriously and went to the Olympics?
I mean, I wasn't no Tasha Phelps.
That good?
I was good enough to swim, and I'm very competitive. So I think I would have done well, and just the self-satisfaction I think I would have enjoyed. So just for myself to be able to do that, that I can say I'll retract my statement. That is probably one regret that I had, that I did not take the opportunity, because that would have.
See, I'm a journalist. I pulled that right out you. You see how I did that? Y'all see how I did that? She said she had no regrets. You let her keep going, pull it right out. Go ahead.
Your pull out game strong?
Go ahead. No.
Oh. You said it. You walked right into that.
Not at all. It never has been. It never has been. Nope.
You like you will have 7 babies running around here.
Nope.
How about you? What are some opportunities that you regret not taking, or not taking advantage of, or missing out on?
I think I have a regret. My first one is a regret. It's high school. It's that it's not. The first part is I wish I wasn't as deep into the street and narrow-minded as I was when I was 16, 15, because it clouded my judgment and decision-making in high school. And I wish I was present in high school in those years to experience high school the way everybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was just doing different shit and not going to school and not caring about school. And as I got older and had hindsight, I really wish I would have. I really wish I would have experienced high school in that sense. So yeah, that's one opportunity that I think I squandered and I do regret. The other things are more along the line of I feel like there probably was some things I could have did better with my daughter's situation. Those, I don't think I regret those things. I just think I could have did better in certain situations. I wish along the lines of what you were saying, like what ifs, like, so, and as I got older, it's been like, damn, it'd been cool to go to college. Or think like, what if I would have went to school? I never even thought or even seen that far when I was 15, 16 to think I could make college, or even think, where would I go? Like, I never even had that thought, like, damn, what school would I go to? Not till I was 30-something, and was like, damn, like, that's a decent school. I would have probably, like you said, you wanted to go to an HBCU. I didn't have those thoughts at 15, 16, and that makes me sad in a sense.
That was something that you said.
So much other shit.
You told me that early in our relationship that like college was never even something that you thought of, and that it's just like we grew up literally not even 2 blocks, like 1.5 blocks from each other. So same neighborhood, just completely different upbringings.
We lived on the same,
the same street.
The same street.
Yeah, but it's just amazing. So I say the only reason why I mention that is because it's like we're in the same surroundings, similar upbringings but different. But just to think that wasn't even a thought in your head, that always blew me away when you said that.
Yeah, and I think a lot was, like a whole bunch of we don't have it. And so you just kind of know certain things not to ask for, or it's just out your reach. I think it becomes subconsciously in you, like, not
so
to
you didn't
think
know
that
about
far.
Like scholarships and grants and that kind of thing.
And that's another thing I wish, the high school part, like I wish
so you would have learned about
I would have learned about that and indulged in that, and I would have been on some kind of extracurricular thing, like, just when I was a kid, that shit was corny, and that's stupid to say now, but that's just what it was. It was like, it was dumb to be smart. So, and I wish that I thought differently back then. Obviously, I'm not there now, but I just wish I thought differently and took a different approach. And like you said, that would have been the butterfly effect, because who knows if I'd be sitting here with you now? Who knows if
you would be here. Our lives would have always
living
crossed.
in this state? Who knows if, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have did anything. I know I actually thought to myself when I was younger, and which is weird because I got out of jail and thought, I'm going to the military. But I don't think I could have, because I was locked up. I don't think you could go right out of jail.
I don't know. I don't know the restrictions, but it's where I thought about when I was in school, like that period of my life where I was lost. Like it was that transition between dropping out of college, trying to work, living house to house. Like, I don't know why that just made me emotional. I was lost, and one of the thoughts was, you know what? I'm going to the Air Force. And in my mind, reason why I thought of the Air Force, I was always told that
that's the smarter.
Right. So I just thought, okay, I'm gonna still get some education. Like, I just thought I'm going to the Air Force, and I'm happy that despite being plus size all my life, like it never affected my confidence except for not joining the swim team. But that's why I couldn't go. I was overweight, and it was just like, F y'all. Like, I just kept it moving. Like, I didn't let that take me down, but I thought about that for a second. So we could have met in the military.
No, but I mean,
or reunited in the military.
Thought when I was a teenager, or when I was getting out of jail, thinking like, I have to do something. I don't want to go back to what I was doing in the street, and I'm going to the military. And now, like, in hindsight, when you say my thing is tough love, and I respond to that kind of, get your shit together. Like, maybe I would have done well in that environment where it's a lot of tough love. Like, get your shit together, hollering, screaming. You either gonna do it or you're not. Like, that kind of thing. So maybe in that kind of environment, I would have thrived. I don't know. I could have been a SEAL or some shit. I could have been the one that got Osama.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I was thinking about it. I'm not doubting it. And it's when, in terms of tough love, I wonder how receptive would you have been to it. That's kind of what I was thinking. I think if you passed that stage and you got to the position of being a leader in the military and you giving tough love, because the thing with your tough love, your heart. It's like you give tough love, and people who don't know you see it from a place of a mean heart, but they don't realize you give that tough love because you care so much. Like, even when you don't want to care, like, you think about Big Fella, like, you was always so hard on him, and then you like, oh man, I hope he are. Like, you care even when you don't want to care.
But I'm not a passive person, so no. I think that, I don't, just because I give tough love, and I've never had nobody to give me tough love.
Right.
I still think in that environment, I would respond well, because it's what it's what I want. It's what I wanted. Like, it's what I, in the streets, no pop. Like, it's what I yearn for somebody to say, like, what the fuck you doing? Get your shit together. Like, so that would have been okay. And me not being passive, like, I understand what, either you're going to do it or you're not. So I get that. It's not like I want to give tough love, but I want you to be passive towards me. I don't like passive people.
No.
Or definitely can't be friends with passive men.
Yeah.
So
I give you tough love.
You do when it's necessary.
Yeah.
When it's necessary.
But like, that's not my way always,
no,
but when it's necessary.
You learn how to do it. You know when I'm being pitiful on myself. And
I have more of a motivating, optimistic approach where you have more of like a cutthroat, straight to the point, but I know how to put that aside and when it's needed. So we have our different approaches, but it works.
So yeah, those are my my thoughts among
what you regret.
So that's just one thing I regret, and then I wish I just think about like what would college have been like, what the military would have been like, things like that.
Do you think if you went to college that you would have pledged to a fraternity?
I want to say yes, but I ain't with no dumb shit. I'm serious. Like, I'm not getting naked. You're not tying nothing to my dick. You're not hitting me on a paddle on my ass. Like, I've seen hazing where people get dick stuff tied to their dick cinder blocks and stuff like that, and bent over couches and they ass smack with paddles. Like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm fuck that fraternity if I gotta do that.
Okay.
Now, if it's some other kind of shit that's kind of weird, like just nothing sexual. That's all. I'm not doing anything sexual. And you know how white boys are.
I'm not talking about a white boy. I'm talking about like Alpha Kappa Alpha Omega Psi Phi.
Like a black fraternity?
Yeah.
I'm not stepping. No.
All of them don't step. I think
no.
they have like a step crew
No.
within the fraternity, but everybody doesn't do the steps.
I'm not stepping. I'm not doing nothing sexual.
Okay.
Black or white.
You wouldn't be like doing no hoorahs and stuff?
No, I wouldn't be Malcolm Jenkins and all around the place.
Oh, God.
Fuck no.
Don't talk about MJ.
Around.
Don't talk about Malcolm Jenkins.
So, don't say his name on my podcast.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Don't talk about the bearded saint. Stop, babe. But why would you do that on camera? Really?
Burn your ass up. Finish what you were saying.
Okay, that was just so I definitely wasn't talking about a white fraternity.
You know what came to my mind when you said fraternity? Revenge of the Nerds. So that's why I thought white fraternity. Because they do some weird shit. And then you hear about them kids dying because they put alcohol up their ass and too much, and then they went, you know what I mean? Like, they just do some dumb shit when it come to, it's like you got to be a fucked up person to think up some shit like that.
Yeah,
like some weird task for somebody to do, and probably naked just to get into some club.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say.
I don't need to do that to have lifetime friends.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that black fraternities don't do that because I don't know, but I don't think.
I mean, hazing's hazing.
Yeah, I don't think you hear about it in terms of the alcohol, that kind of stuff. You know, I think there have been stories about other things that have gone wrong that ended badly for young black men in terms of black fraternities. But that was. Would
you ever join a sorority?
You know, I've thought about that.
You had some beta sisters.
I thought about
Delta
that,
sisters.
and I don't think so. I don't know. Like, I like the sisterhood that they represent. Like, you know, when they have different events and the
I could
networking
see you in
and
an
stuff.
HBCU in a black fraternity.
So it would be a sorority.
I mean, in a sorority.
But I don't think I would because I just feel like I don't like to be cliquey. Like, you know, that's one of the things. Like, I don't like to be cliquey. I don't like a whole. And again, I mean, no disrespect, because I think it's a beautiful thing, you know, when they display their sisterhood and I like the idea of being able to network with a group of people. And I think that's one of the things that offers you, just like being a girl's high girl. You know, you go anywhere and you say you're a girl's high girl. You meet somebody, and you meet somebody in a position of power, and they're a girl's high girl too. That's a leg up. So it's kind of
You ever say what's your number and somebody lie?
I never have, but you know what?
Or somebody say a number that wasn't even out yet, or they say your number, and you like.
No, but No, but there is somebody.
Okay, that's cool.
There is somebody, and we are Facebook friends. We worked at the same job, and she knew me, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And her name sounded familiar, but she didn't look familiar. No, let me not lie. Her name, she just wasn't familiar to me. She's like, "Yeah, I know you from girls." I'm like, "Oh, okay, what class?" She was like, "Your class 242," and I'm like, I didn't remember her.
She lying?
No, she's not lying. She really is. Like I just had
some research.
Facebook, but I just didn't remember her. But I haven't encountered an issue where somebody lied. But I say that to say that networking is important in life, to be able to say. I mean, you get it.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Do they let Caucasian people in HBCUs now?
I believe so. There was recently a story.
I thought it was. I thought I read something like that a few years ago, like 3 to 5 years ago, where they was letting Caucasian people in HBCUs.
Well, I don't think that they could ever deny it. But
I think for a long time they didn't go there. Like they were 98% black.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't think that they could ever deny them admission, but I don't think that white people were applying to go. It's a historically black college or university. So, I mean... I don't want to say why would you want to go there, but like why would you want to be the white girl amongst everybody, like the only one?
Well, you wouldn't anticipate that you would be the only one. I'm just like I've always thought to myself the history of those schools. There's always been, not always because I've just read that they recently started letting Caucasian people in, but because of inclusion and not wanting to deny people and having saying, okay, you don't allow blacks into Yale and Princeton and stuff like that. So they couldn't say the same thing about you don't allow blacks into Howard and Morehouse and stuff like that.
Whites, yeah.
Yeah. So I always thought if there's 3,000 kids that go there, there's 100 white kids. Like, and that would be speckled amongst 3,000. You wouldn't be able to.
Well, and one thing you got to remember too, on a undergraduate level, so for freshmen their first 4 years, that's probably when it's primarily probably 99% black.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into graduate school, that's when I think you will see a larger population, because you have doctors, I would think, of all races, nationalities that have gone to like Howard Medical School, because
mm-hmm.
it's a prestigious medical school. So I don't think so I think that's where it comes into play, where you see just primarily black people is in that undergraduate class. Now again, I don't think it's that they just started letting white people in. There may have been more of an influx of white people applying, and then because of the whole Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter, people have maybe wanted to make it a bigger story to say to even bring that up. But I don't think it's allowed that you can exclude one.
You're right.
Race.
I don't think nobody was excluded. I don't think there ever was anything on books that said you couldn't come here. I agree with you. I just think that they didn't come and they didn't apply.
Right.
But I did read something as of recently, a few years ago, that whites were going to HBCUs for culture, for inclusion, and the whole thing with you don't allow blacks into Yale and Princeton and all those other schools, but the Ivy League schools. So it was sort of like we can't be saying y'all don't let us in there where we don't allow y'all in our school, where it's not ever been anything on the books saying we don't, but it's been predominantly black.
Yeah, and I think just because of the stigma, white people haven't applied there, and I think a lot of the Ivy League.
And when you say why wouldn't you want it? Like, what if there's some cool white people out there that just want to go for culture? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want to go to Princeton? If you can ask it the same way, just playing devil's advocate. Like, why would you want to come to a Spelman where it's all black girls, but why would a guy want to go to?
Well, because I think you have more diversity. Those schools that are what do they
Harvard or something like that.
They call them PWIs, the private white institutions. So that's what they're called.
Okay.
So you have more of a diverse culture there, where you're definitely going to be the minority, but it's not like you're going to be the only one. Who's recently become the majority. And I seen a story about this. I think they were talking about MIT. The Asians are, and I'm being politically correct because I don't know if it's like Chinese or Japanese or Korean, so I'm just saying Asians, including Indians, who are also considered Asians, it was like some backlash because even white people felt like the Asians were getting preference over them, and the numbers were like, the Asian population up here far exceeding other people. Mm-hmm. So I hear what you're saying, but in terms of joining a sorority, I always felt like, so when I was younger, I used to feel like, oh, you're paying for friends, because it ain't like it's free. And I used to be like, hell no, I wouldn't do that. And being older, I understand it's not just paying for friends, it's more to it than that. They do a lot in communities in terms of giving back and things like that. And it's just a network, it's a sisterhood. I get all that. I didn't think so when I was younger for other reasons, and now I'm being older for different reasons. I still don't think that I would have. I value the experience that you get from networking with people and being a part of organizations and allowing you those opportunities to kind of have small circles. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that I would have pledged.
It's two-dimensional Facebook. That's what it is.
Two-dimensional Facebook?
Yeah, networking with people and live, and like us, like now, sitting here in 2 dimension, just networking, talking, making friends.
Yeah.
That's what the person did who couldn't join one of them groups. He made Facebook, which is the same fucking thing. That's ironic that happened, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, wrapping up. Last question: how do you measure success?
Wow. That's a good question. How do you measure success? I think success is measured by your own evaluation of your satisfaction in life.
So what I get out of that is, in layman's terms, success is relative to the individual in their own circumstance.
Absolutely. You said it better than me.
See?
I thought we were supposed to do this. Yeah. Yes, that's because what's one person's measure of success can be completely different, and your measure of success can change.
Right.
Like, we were always raised in the Black community. You work hard, you buy a house, you do all these things, and as we get older, I've saw this video, and I swear, in different facets of life, it continues to play in my mind. And I think we mentioned this on Bandwidth, the last episode 12. If you haven't already seen it, take a look. It was really good. But that mindset of, why are we trained to work hard when we should be trained to work smart? And I keep thinking about that in the sense of not just work, but living too. Like, why do we put so much pressure on ourselves to do so much if we can achieve those same things in a less stressful way, putting out less effort, but still getting them done because it's our responsibility to get it done? Why are we not trained that to say, look, you got 7 things to get done? That don't mean bust your ass, kill yourself, use up all your time, be exhausted and tired to make sure you get these done. That just means make sure you get them done. Why aren't we trained? Utilize your resources. Use the best method. Use your mind to think, how can I get these 7 things done? Just because it's your responsibility to get them done doesn't mean it's your responsibility to do them. Right. So using that same thought in life, I just been thinking to myself, like things, you don't always have to bust your ass to do things. Sometimes working hard and saving money and being able to pay somebody to do something, that's you're getting it done. That's comfort there. Just because you're not out there mowing the lawn, if you can pay somebody to do it, the lawn still looks nice.
I think in Black community we get conditioned, and then you tell me if I'm wrong, but my thinking is we've been conditioned to think over so many years that we're not smart. So we just started to realize, I would say in the past 20 years, that we can compete and be smart and get educated and do anything anybody else can. So that's why we're not trained to think to work smarter. We're more of the physical nature. Like we're so dominant, we're big, we're Black, we're faster, we're stronger. So we think we can physically outdo anybody with anything, not necessarily use your mind. Like we can use our mind, but we've been conditioned to think otherwise all this time, to think we have to physically dominate everything, which hence busting your ass. I can work the hardest. I can dig the deeper hole. I can stay later. I can put more sheetrock up. I can do more framing than you. I can sit at the computer longer than you. Like all those things, because it's a physical aspect, not being conditioned over the years to think, let me use my mind and work smarter, not harder.
That's weird, not weird, but that's a good point that you make, and it's true. We're taught to be that physical person that we have. It's like we have to prove to ourselves. It makes me think about certain things that we've seen white people do, or those people who maybe I'm just gonna say white people. We've seen white people do for years that we kind of turn our nose up at or laugh at. Like we've seen white women have nannies for years, and it's like, how dare you? And now when you see some wealthier Black people who do it, people may talk trash about them, but the fact that they may need assistance and they're using it and they're using their resources to maybe free up some of their bandwidth, some of their free time. What's wrong with that? We've talked about white people having housekeepers, or, you know, it made me think about a person, I don't want to say man, having a driver to work. When you think about how smart that is, to just be able to get in the back of a car, you got your laptop, you got your phone, you can handle meetings. It's several times, me coming back from getting the vaccine the other day, I had to take a meeting. I wasn't home yet, so I'm driving, I'm taking, now of course I'm not holding my phone, I'm on speakerphone, but I'm in the car. But just to think, if I had that ability to have a driver, somebody taking, like if I had to make different stops, kill two birds with one stone. Yeah.
People, they went from drivers to getting Ubers.
So it's those things
and it's
that
people with cars that rather catch an Uber because of that reason. Yeah.
And where you can, you know, still handle your business without the stress of driving every day. So it's those things in life that everybody may not be able to afford those luxuries or those or having to use those resources, but we shouldn't look down at people that do use those resources. The job is still getting done. It doesn't matter who's doing it for us. So back to measuring success, I think the level of success, how you measure success, is relative to everybody. You know, what one person may deem as successful. If you grew up in a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom apartment with 10 people in it, and now you got a 2-bedroom house with just the 5 people, you know, your family or something, you've climbed the ladder. You've achieved a level of success that for you is better than what you had. Now for somebody else, they may look at that as still not enough.
A different way, or they've been exposed to different things.
And there's no ceiling on success.
Yeah, exposure leads to expansion. My measure of success, and wrapping this up, is simple. I agree with what you're saying, and it's all relative to each individual and their circumstances. But I think a general measure of success for everybody walking the face of the planet is health, have somebody to love you, experience love, and that's it. Try to do good things for people, and that's a measure of success. Doing good things for people, small things, don't have to be big. Could be handing somebody $1 that can make somebody's day. So little things like that can make you feel good and make you feel like you have a purpose and make you feel successful. And having somebody to share that with and having your health is a measure of success that everybody walking the face of the planet should strive for.
Can I add one thing
Sure.
to what I said? So not only how you measure your satisfaction in life, but also I have to say how we use our life to please God. So not just our own satisfaction, but how much is God pleased with what we're doing. And that's all. That's, to me, is the first level. Does my actions please God, and then am I satisfied? That's it.
That's cool. Good talk, good conversation.
Can I ask, who would you hug this week?
Sure. I would hug my daughter. So, Jada, you out there, Daddy would hug you. I know I texted you recently and was telling you how happy I was to get my license, and you was, it's making me a little emotional.
Aww.
You was super excited for me, and that just made my day. Just to see that you were excited and see your emojis. So I appreciate you. I love you, and I would hug you this week.
That's dope.
You?
I'm proud of you guys. Who would you give a punch to?
I got no punches.
Aw.
I ain't be nobody else.
No, you ain't gonna be nobody else this week.
I ain't be nobody else. You?
I would give a hug to my mellow yellow love.
Mellow yellow love.
So people, if you know me, you know who my mellow yellow love is. Oftentimes people talk about, taking the next step and doing things in their life to help themselves. And, we talk about therapy, and it's needed, whether you're going through something or not. And just taking that step to talk to somebody when you feel...
Is this the mellow yellow love that I think you talking about?
I don't know. I only have one mellow yellow love.
Okay, all right, I know.
And just taking that step to talk to somebody, and whether, again, it doesn't have to be like you're in crisis or something. I just think that it's a good thing. And a lot of times people talk about it and never actually do it. I think that's a real adult thing to do in life. So I'm just proud. So she would get a hug.
I think I know who she's talking about, but if that's the person, then that's big for you. That's always a step forward, and that's big for you. So big ups for that.
Yeah.
That's it.
You ain't asked me who I would punch.
Who you gonna punch?
Our neighbor.
Oh, the drunk lady?
Yeah. I'm a puncher because I don't want her to kill herself or anybody else. She's an alcoholic, and it's bad.
Want to do an intervention?
We don't even know her name.
You can get her name, get Facebook, get some people over here.
That's like calling the cops.
So no, you don't.
I'm gonna pray for her. That's what I'm gonna do. She is bad. She be coming home falling out the car. The other day, somebody had to drive her car home, and then she was in the back of the other person's car, and they had to walk her in the house. And this happens repeatedly.
And she was drunk in the daytime trying to get into our neighbor's house because she lost a dog a couple months ago.
And was like, I can't get in their house. Like, lady, you ain't supposed to be able to get in their house. So I would punch her if I knew her name. But I'm going to just pray.
White drunk lady, that's her name.
I'm going to just pray. And it's crazy because let us be drunk driving repeatedly like this. The cops will be here in no time.
We would.
I'm grateful that she keeps making it home safe and nothing happens to her. But that's bad. She could really hurt somebody. So I will punch her upside her head because the other day that was crazy.
She got the complexion for the connection.
For the protection.
She got the complexion for the connection for the protection.
I'm going to punch her in her complexion.
Act 2, episode 13. We just wrapped this up. It's your boy International Walk, my co-host.
Tosh.
Good conversation. Keep the comments coming. Keep the shares coming. Keep the likes coming. Want to see some goddamn questions in the box. Goddamn questions in the bar. What is it again?
Just ask some questions.
Goddamn questions. But appreciate y'all. Appreciate the support, the love, the funny stuff y'all say. I read it all. So keep it coming. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.